Hey guys, I'm 35 and here are 10 things I wish I knew in my 20s. Defining your rich life. So I follow this guy called Ramit Sethi and he talks a lot about defining your rich life in a sense that where you should spend meaningfully and where you should cut down mercilessly. So, being in the sales industry, it does get very toxic at times. As my team was growing, as it was getting bigger, I started to get people reaching out to me to say, hey, Daron, your team is this size already, you are this leader already, so you should be buying a Porsche, you should be buying this, you should be buying that. And I do admit, I did give in to some of them, started upgrading my car, started upgrading my watch, I started buying like shoes I didn't even like, all to just impress people that actually don't really even care about me. I realized that it doesn't really fill me at all, and I wasted so much resources on it. And the truth is, like, even I don't even like to drive, so why am I buying all these kind of things? So I realized that the things that fill up other people don't necessarily fill you, and you got to define your own rich life. Like this latte over here is like what, $7-8. Some people may not agree with it. You can make your instant coffee at home for 50 cents, $1. Yes, I do agree, sometimes saving money there is important, but I appreciate the craft, I appreciate the work behind it, I appreciate the whole art behind it. So this is to me like how I define my rich life, how I enjoy and appreciate and spend meaningfully on things that I really appreciate. So yeah, you got to define your own success. 60% every day is better than 100% in one day. So yeah, be it work, something that you want to accomplish at work, or be it getting in shape, I believe showing up every day is better than just giving it all in one day. So what do I mean by this? If let's say I want to get in shape, I can show up at the gym once a month and I give it 100%, versus if I were to go to the gym maybe 4-5 times a week. But maybe yes, some days I don't feel like it, some days maybe your motivational level is not, maybe your energy level is not high, but just giving 60% more consistently 4 to 5 days, and I think that definitely yields you a better result. So yeah, use this analogy in any parts of your life. I find it very helpful in work as well. That yes, sometimes there are days that you don't feel it, but just showing up and just putting in the effort, let the momentum carry you forward. And yeah, I think consistency will definitely see you better results. Take care of your body before it takes care of you. In my 20s, I think I really felt like Superman. So I was working like constantly on ends, and yeah, I just felt indestructible because I'm in my 20s, I feel like I have nothing to lose. That's where I felt the repercussions in my 30s. So in my 30s, I started developing a lot of illnesses, a lot of problems that actually weighed me down and caused me to not be able to work as productive as in my 20s. So how I wish I knew earlier to take care of my body, to treat myself with that respect so that I can go the distance in my career. Well, it sounds very counterproductive. Whenever I take time off to go to the gym, to treat myself right, it takes time off work, but what in return it gets me is I feel so much better about myself, I feel so much more energy from it, and in return I actually can work better even though I have lesser time. So yeah, even though it sounds counterproductive, but yeah, treating yourself with respect, loving your body can make you go a further distance. Every hero starts from a zero. So I wish I knew this way earlier in my career, because had I known this earlier, this concept of failing fast, I would definitely be more braver and bolder to try more new things, because that will enable me to fail more often so that I can find out what works and what doesn't work early on in my career. So playing it safe, I think sometimes doesn't work. In your 20s, I feel that when you have lesser responsibilities, you have more opportunities, I think you can definitely go and try harder and do something that scares you even. Every shirt has a pants rule. So on average, daily, I deal with about 70 to 100 messages. I have about 20 associates sometimes reaching out to me to ask for help. If I'm not busy at work, I'm busy being a spouse, I'm busy trying to be a good son, or I'm busy trying to be a good friend who is in need. So day to day, we are definitely very, very busy. So every day we make hundreds of decisions a day. And the last thing you want to do is to fall into this situation of a decision fatigue. So things that don't matter so much, I want to make sure that I spend the least amount of time in it. So kind of like Mark Zuckerberg or kind of like Steve Jobs, right? But of course, I want to play it up in a more fun way. Like for myself, like the most minor decisions, which is like what to wear every single day, right? I got it sorted out without any single thought a day. I only have 5 pants: a black pants, a blue pants, a khaki pants, a green pants, and 1 pair of jeans. So once you have all this, so every shirt that I buy definitely will match any of these pants. So meaning to say, my decision is actually really very simple every day. So when I get up, when I prepare for work, I just go to my closet, just pick up a shirt that I want, and definitely it will match a certain pants. I reduce my decision fatigue so that it enables me to make more decisions a day and make even bigger decisions for the rest of the day. So I think that's really helpful, and I wish I knew this earlier to implement this into my life. The 11 a.m. rule. So how I wish I knew this rule earlier, and what this 11 a.m. rule is that whenever you're facing any rejection or any objections in your life, so instead of suppressing your feelings, you are allowed to acknowledge your feelings. So yeah, go ahead to whine, moan, complain, do anything you need to, but of course, put a stop to it the next day at 11 a.m. Okay, likewise, also for any success, let's say you close a big sales, you make a big breakthrough in your career, yes, go ahead, celebrate, feel the emotions, enjoy the experience. But same thing the next day at 11 a.m., draw a line so that you can move on. So what this does is that this helps you to find the balance in your life so that your emotions are always constantly stable rather than a constant swing of up and down in such a big way. So yeah, this is really very helpful, and how I wish I knew it much earlier. Finding your other whole, not your other half. I know the worldly view says that you need to find your better half, find your other half, but it took me a lot of heartbreaks and a lot of heartaches to realize that actually this is not true. So yeah, I remember doing one of the breakups, the ending statement that was said to me was, hey Daron, you need to learn to love yourself first before you can love others. So I didn't really quite understand that, so it took me a couple more years to really truly understand the meaning of that. And yeah, I realized that if you are a half trying to find another half, no one else in this world can fill you except God. So what happens is, if you go about your life, with a lot of hurt, a lot of brokenness, a lot of injustice, whatever you're feeling in your life, you are that half, right? Finding another half will never, never, ever fill you or solve you or heal you, because you're just bringing your brokenness and all your baggage along to the relationship. At the end of the day, you're just going to hurt another person. So instead of actually chasing that other half, chase yourself first. If you can actually work on yourself to make sure that you yourself are healed, you yourself are complete, you yourself are whole, then finding another whole will make a perfect relationship. So I sincerely believe that, and I wish I knew that earlier. People want you to do well, but they do not want you to do better than them. So this might be a little bit sad to say. Earlier in my career, I was assigned to a couple of mentors that taught me the tricks and the traits of the industry. And I think I was fortunate enough to find results earlier than expected. And I realized that along the way, the same people that were rooting for me, these mentors that were teaching me, were actually the ones against me. Yeah, it's sad to say that they want to see you do well, but not better than them. And I started to receive things such as, hey Daron, the way you run your business, you're out of the industry you're out in the industry after a few months. I even had this mentor that posted on Facebook to say that, let's see how long you can last in this industry. And that really got to me, and that really affected my emotional well-being, my physical well-being, my mental well-being, because I was really, really affected by what all these mentors who were seemingly rooting for me were saying about me. And how I wish I knew it earlier that, yes, sad to say, sometimes some people do want to see you do well but not better than them. But I take this as a good learning lesson, because that helps me to become a better leader in the way I conduct myself. I sincerely believe that my ceiling is the next generation's floor. Meaning to say that whatever curveballs I've gone through, whatever struggles I've gone through, whatever pain I've gone through, all the experiences that I have, whatever next generation that joins us, that joins our team, I believe in passing as much as possible to them so that they can do definitely better than us. And I sincerely believe that the next generation has to do better than us. They have access to so much resources and so much experiences that they otherwise wouldn't have. So yes, sincere belief that next generation must do better than the current generation. And don't you agree with me that if the next generation do not do better than me, then doesn't it reflect my failure as like a mentor towards them? Saying no to the good so that we can say yes to the great. So early in my career, I was really seen like the Mr. Super helpful guy. So like, be it regardless of team, regardless of division, like everyone would call me because they couldn't reach their manager or they couldn't reach their leader, and they would call me because it was easier to actually call me than to go online and find. So the common statements I always get is, just call Daron, he knows one, just call him and then he will give you the answer. So before I knew it, of course, I started to feel like my time was really, really abused. So instead of finding things online, they just called me conveniently, and then I started to just help every single one, and then that took a toll on my own personal work, my own personal relationships, and like I was always really just feeling very overwhelmed because this was actually not progressing my career. So how I wish I knew earlier of where to draw boundaries. It was quite a difficult decision, but for teammates that were not under my care and were actually abusing my time and were calling me consistently for things that they could find online, how I wish I knew earlier to draw a line and draw boundaries so that I can really just protect myself and protect my well-being. Being helpful, of course, is certainly a very, very good trait. But if being helpful is detrimental to your own well-being, then I think you got to make sure to be very mindful of it so that you can find the right balance. As long as I'm breathing, I've got a reason to praise. Maybe it's a Singaporean thing that we are not as encouraging or not as warm. It's not in our culture to do so. But just a couple of months ago when I was in Dubai for my mission trip, we were just randomly worshipping on the bus, just singing praise songs in the bus. And I really love singing, but I know I can't sing. But it's just something I love to do, but I know I can't do very well. So we're all just singing freely, singing endlessly on the bus. And this guy just turned around and looked to me and said, "Hey Daron, you have a great voice, keep singing." So yes, whether it's true or not, I do not know. So to me, that simple word of encouragement made me so happy and made me feel so good about myself that it shifted something in my heart. So I sincerely believe that the mouth has the power of life and death. So speaking life into somebody is absolutely free. Yes, I know starting out may not be a very easy thing to do because it's not really in our culture to be warm or encouraging. It's just not something that we do in Singapore. But trust me, start with praising somebody. Start by saying something nice about somebody. Let that momentum carry you forward. That will shift something in your heart and that will shift the perception of how you view them as well. But most importantly, you never know actually how a simple word of encouragement or simple word of praise can shift and change the trajectory of somebody's lives for the better. So yeah, the mouth has the power of life and death. Try speaking life into somebody. So yeah, those are my 10 things that I wish I knew earlier, and I hope you find that helpful as we navigate through this crazy thing we call life together.